It's the craziest thing when just as you're getting ready to go live for a broadcast like this, I'm told that I'm supposed to try some. How do we do this trick with glasses, right? So we started a few seconds late. Anyway, I am so glad to be here on this first Friday of the year, 2022. I am talking to Abby Ritchie and Todd Hartley, who are both experts in video. This is all about how to be an expert at video. I'm gonna start by saying we're gonna run our intro in a minute, but one thing I'm gonna say is this was a really hard episode for me to do, frankly, because in the senior living space, with the possible exception of Abby, Senior Living Foresight has essentially owned video. There are a few people who do a little bit, but hardly anybody's doing it. And so I feel like we are giving away trade secrets, but video is the place to be. Let's start with this intro. Hey guys, Steve Moran here. So that's our little intro. It's not quite the same caliber or energy level of music that we had at Tony Robbins up at Unleash the Power in Florida a couple months ago, where I first met Todd. And we're actually going to start with doing a couple of introductions. Abby, why don't you tell us who you are?
Okay, my name is Abby Ritchie. Thank you so much for having me here. I am honored. I am the founder and CEO of Senior Savvy, which relieves tech stress for older adults so they can excel in today's world. I'm also the host of a Saltbox TV show that's called Senior Savvy with Abby. It's premiering later this year. And when I'm not doing tech support, I'm teaching Zoom tech workshops around the country. And I am particularly honored to be here with my brother, Todd Hartley, marketing genius. You go, Todd.
Thank you. It's
Let me say one other thing about Todd, because because you might not do this. The first place I was actually introduced to Todd is I was at Unleash the Power in Florida at Tony Robbins, and the first time I ever saw him, he was standing on the stage presenting, which is pretty cool. So with that, why don't you tell us who you are and what you do?
Thank you, Steve. My name is Todd Hartley. I'm Abby's brother, and that's how people in the family refer to me as. And I'm one of Tony Robbins's speakers. I speak at most of his events, and I'm one of his business mastery faculty speakers. And I'm just incredibly grateful to be able to teach something that I've been doing for a long time and be able to help businesses get to the next level. You know, video is the most powerful tool in the business world, but it's also powerful for developing relationships. And so I own an agency called Wirebuzz, but most of the time I'm spent educating business leaders on how to use this tool to amplify their results.
Okay, so I don't even hardly know where to start. I think that for most people, the biggest challenge that video presents is it's really, really scary. How do we get past that? Todd?
Well, this is right in my wheelhouse. So there are like 3 or 4 primary limiting beliefs that people have around video. The first one is, I don't like how I look on camera. Just totally understandable. Before we get into those, it's the most powerful tool because people are 4 times more likely to watch video than to read text. And they're also 85% more likely to buy after watching. Boom. So it's got superpowers. But what keeps us from leveraging our superpowers is, I don't like how I look on camera. The next one is, I don't want anybody to think that I don't have anything smart to say. And then there's others, like there are other people in my industry that are doing this, or I don't like how my voice sounds. Like, these are all the limiting beliefs that keep people from leveraging the most powerful tool to amplify their brand, their business, or even better educate or serve their customers.
So I own 2 of those for sure. I hate how I look on camera. and I hate my voice. So I got past it, but how do other people get past it?
Well, even supermodels are in therapy over this. So it's not a matter of looks, it's all up inside here. Here's how I got past it. And for me, when Tony Robbins reached out at the very beginning of the pandemic to have me train each of his 74 businesses so they could sell remotely from the safety of their home. And I had like 6 events scheduled throughout the entire summer of 2020 to train his teams. The week after I scheduled each of those meetings, knowing what my summer was going to be like, my dermatologist opened up in April of 2020, and I discovered that I had skin cancer here and here and had to have my nose 3 surgeries throughout the summer, and then my nose reconstructed. Now, here's the dilemma. My vanity was so large that I actually told my wife that I was going to reschedule Tony Robbins because I did not want to be all gauzed up doing my training. And my wife did a wonderful job asking me, does your vanity outweigh your willingness and desire to serve? Because, dude, if so, you've got to reassess those things. We're all here to serve people, to make their lives better. And once I understood that, and I got my head in the right place, and I got out of my own way, I did my Tony Robbins trainings literally, Steve, with gauze on my nose. And what did it do? My vulnerability attracted that world to me, and they knew that I was there for them primarily. And as soon as we do that, when we do that as business leaders and put our prospects or our clients first and get out of the way, amazing things happen. Thank you, Rachel.
So this is such an important point. We've really ramped up video in the last year at Senior Living Foresight. And one of the things I really appreciated is I started going to in-person conferences with people would come up to me who I'd never met before, and we'd have a conversation and they go, wow, you're just like you are on video. And so it's just really a testament to the authenticity. How about you, Abby? How did you get there?
Well, it was a lovely spring day in May of 2020. I had to completely pivot and shelf my in-person workshops. And just about that time, Todd was encouraging me to go on video, which I did not want to do for reason number one, and start recording my workshops and get them out there and start a YouTube channel. He had really big goals for me, ones that I just, I was petrified to take on. Not only did I absolutely hate the way I looked on camera, my lighting, my office is in the middle of the house. I've got wonky lighting all the time, 2 kids running around being homeschooled that are distracting me all the time. And, it just had a lot of limiting beliefs about what I could do. But I'll tell you, what I did do was I did it. I just did it regularly. I just did it and I kept putting it out there. And you know what? I refined my presentation so much. And if you have any doubt whatsoever of how far I've come since 2020, I want you to go to the Senior Savvy channel on YouTube and look at my cringy 2020 videos. You'll see them there. I haven't taken them down because I want you to know, and myself too, when I see them, girl, you've come a long way in a short amount of time. And I kept asking Todd, what do you think? And he would say, do more of this, do a little bit of this, talk faster. Okay. I'm like, well, I'm talking to older adults. But he would say a little this, a little that. I'd go back to the drawing board. I'd do it again. And the next day I'd do it again. And I want to say, I remember, Todd, I was thinking back that you were telling me that to post, can you post every day? And I thought, what? I can't post every day. How could I possibly create and do that in video? He was like, all right, can you try twice a week? And I was like, okay, I'll try twice a week. Okay. And then I did that and, got comfortable with the twice a week. And then I did 3 times. And then, you know what? I just do it now. It's just in my back pocket. So it really means practicing and just putting it out there, because I want to serve this community, and I want to teach people how they can help the senior in their life use technology, which isn't going anywhere.
So I want to, you touched on something. This is so powerful. And if you went and looked at some of my early videos, they are equally as cringeworthy. Some might say they are still cringeworthy today. I'm not quite sure about that. So I don't know. But one of the things I'd actually really like to talk about is people get pretty freaked out about settings. So, what do I do about equipment? What do I do about lighting? What do I do about sound? And I will tell you that right now where I'm sitting, I built this office that I'm in so I could do video. So I've got you can see my boom mic here. I've got a camera that only is used in my office. I got this big, huge diffuser light. I've got a side light here, so I get it all right. So y'all got to have all that in order to get started, right?
Nope. In fact, you could easily just go up to your window. Let's just pretend there's a window right here, if we could. Okay. You could walk right up to your window and pull up your blinds, grab your phone, and allow God's natural light to warm up your face. And let that be the diffuser. As long as the light isn't coming directly at you, it's going to be better than the lights you have inside in most cases. So you can create videos with your phone, as long as you're holding it right and you're not drinking too much coffee. I'm on 4 cups today, but if I would, so you got to lock that thing down, and then your camera always goes at eye level because that's where we look our best. And if you shoot up at yourself, the only person that likes this angle, FYI, is your ear, nose, and throat doctor. You cut that out. So look straight at the camera and you'll be dialed in.
Yep. And I will tell you that I actually have mine a little bit above eye level because when it's on eye level, I've got this, I'm getting old, right? So I got this little waddle under my neck, not very much, but it's accented in video. So, yeah.
Guys,
we all have to find our best angles.
Yeah.
I want to share with you a little tip that I've been using. And what I have here is a picture of our folks. And I take that to my camera because, there are times when, and I've readjusted this now, where you're looking at the camera because that's where the eye contact is occurring, right? And even though there's no picture up there, there's, the other images are down here. If I can remain and keep eye contact with the people I love, then I'm connecting with them.
That is really cool. Okay, so Abby, we've seen you do some videos in Best Buy. What do you use for equipment when you do that?
Holy smokes. Do you know how challenging it is to shoot in Best Buy? If you think that your lighting is challenging, try shooting inside a warehouse, okay? With a lot of noises going on and there's people walking back and forth and distractions. Like, I think my kids have trained me beyond the distractions at this point. So it's a good thing. So what I do in a place like Best Buy is I bring a tripod with me and I just plug my camera in there and I try to find the very best lighting I possibly can. And I've found lately, if I use my AirPods, that I have this direct mic right here and the sound is so close, and it actually, with the noise cancellation that these provide, cancels out a lot of that background noise.
Cool. Okay, so we got anything else we should touch on sort of equipment and technology that we give people, because I think that for many people that's imposing. The one other thing I would say is one of my most watched videos was something I did probably 4 years ago. And I don't even know what inspired it, but I was actually, I was scared to death. I got to tell you this. I was sitting on a bench outside the convention center in San Diego. And so all I had was my cell phone that I just because like I say, I tend to shoot from a little higher. For me, works best. And I talked to my audience, and I think it got watched 7,000 or 8,000 times. And it was just some words of encouragement. No microphone, no earbuds, nothing but God's sunshine. And that was it. So anything else we should talk about technology? And then I want to start talking about what do we talk about, how long they should be, platforms and that kind of thing.
Well, I'm a tech geek and I could spend the the next day, just talking about equipment and showing you things. And I think it's best to stay at a high level, but anytime we want to have a conversation and go deeper, there's a lot of fun equipment that people can be using. In fact, Abby doesn't know this yet, but I'm going to be introducing her to a new camera in her Best Buy videos and a new mic that I think would just be awesome for her.
Right on. Cool.
Yeah. Sue makes a good point that we older folks look much better in natural light. I think that is true. In class I've taken, I've had two people who have given me these big ring lights, and I don't use either one of them because the lighting is just, it does terrible things to me. So you got to figure it out yourself. And I think that natural is really, really important. Okay. So my next question is where do I do it? Let's talk, sort of the obvious places are, and maybe we can do a little bit of each. So we've got LinkedIn, we've got YouTube, of course. And by the way, one of the things I want to say about YouTube here, and I'm going to put a link in right after we're done, but Sage Age, one of our senior living Foresight partners, did a consumer study. One of the things they found that really surprised me that I didn't know is when they're talking at older consumers. In fact, we're going to try this and see. Where do they spend more time, YouTube or Facebook?
Facebook.
Abby?
Final answer.
YouTube.
Abby has got it right. I was shocked at that. I thought it was Facebook.
I set her up.
You did. You did a fantastic job of that.
Thank you.
So where do we, as senior living owners and operators, which is our primary audience, and maybe we'll do a little bit of both, but senior living owners and operators, where do we go? Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, something else?
Anywhere that your customers frequent. Like Toyota has the same issue with print magazines. We all grew up with television, print, radio. They're like, am I just in People magazine, or it's really golf and, all these different places. Wherever your customer is going to be, you should be if you want to engage them and influence their life.
And so, Abby, where do you go?
Well, I go a little bit, I go to Facebook because I know they're there. I know that they look, but they don't touch there. They tell me that they see my vacation photos, but I never even know that they're watching. So, but I know they're there, and I know their children are there too. I also go to YouTube because they know how to do a Google search, and they love to look up things on Google, and YouTube is part of Google, right? So I know that they're on YouTube. I also know that a large majority of people that I'm reaching are on LinkedIn, senior living executives. And so that happens to be my number one platform.
You do, Todd?
Yep, me too. That's where the game is played, right? Business decision makers.
Yep. Absolutely. So what about TikTok?
Yep. I think it's an important place to play if your audience is there. And I don't know the senior community has gravitated to TikTok yet, but there's no reason, and I'm not opposed to getting someplace early before your customers. In fact, that's a great tactic. Own it. So when they arrive, you are the one that runs the place.
So I tried to get into TikTok. I'll tell you that. I wanted to get in early, but every time I did a TikTok, I did not feel authentic. And if I'm not feeling authentic, if I'm not being really who I am, it doesn't work, right? So I have to be authentic in my videos.
So I fully buy that, and yet I'm going to confess to you that when I started doing video, even on LinkedIn, I'm not sure I felt that authentic either. I will just offer to you from my perspective, the one place where I think TikTok could be really valuable for senior living folks is in the hiring world. To be able to tell the story about what it's like to work in a senior living community, I think it could be really, really powerful. There's actually one guy who lives in a senior community. He lives in Austin, Texas. I'm going to try to get him. We've had a little bit of conversation. His name is Old Man Steve. and he's got like 1.5 million followers. And actually, Teepa Snow, who does dementia, has a big following on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Old man Steve is fabulous. I've met him. I've seen him present in person. He's remarkable what he does.
Yep. Yeah. So, and his stuff is kind of, no, not kind of, it's really funky. It is. It's not, nobody would look at that and say, oh man, that's what I want. Nobody would look at that and say, oh, that's what I want to become. The thing is, it works. Right. So, how, Todd, you teach this, you're the expert in it. We've made the case for doing it. We've suggested that everybody's got in their pocket or their purse already all the equipment they need to get started. What do I talk about? I don't know. How long should it be?
Yeah. Look, there's a variety of different types of videos. Mostly when people get started, we think of it as one type of video, but I'm going to give you a specific type that if you're trying to attract new leads is a very helpful type. And I call that a helpful video. Helpful videos help you get discovered. They're like a magnet. And when somebody's on social media, think LinkedIn or think YouTube, what they're doing, if you put helpful information in front of them, if they're searching on YouTube for that information and they find that helpful information, they see you instantly as their guru. The term that I use is helpful is the new viral. And so the way that you discover helpful information that you should be creating videos about to attract new leads is anytime, and this is the secret, somebody asks you a question in the early part of the relationship development about your business or about how you serve or any confusion that they might have, any early stage question, write that down and create a video about it. And so basically it's all supply and demand. So just supply the answers in video that your target prospect consistently demands from you, and boom, like a love connection, they'll be attracted to you.
So I loved that, and I actually watched you do this in person when we were at in Florida, Tony Robbins, right? There was somebody, I don't know whether you even remember this, but somebody came up and while you and I were sitting there talking, and they asked you about something that was a technical expertise kind of question. And you said, that's a really great question. The next time I do a video or a podcast, I don't remember which it was, you said, I will talk about that. And so you met their needs. We kept our conversation going, and you had validation that what you were talking about was something that's important. So Abby, how do you figure out what to talk about in your videos?
I track, like Todd mentioned. These are frequently asked questions. These are questions that my clients ask me, questions that their children ask of me, and usually these are things I want to uncover for my audience. Like the series I've been doing at Best Buy, I'm trying to help my audience get into the mind of the older consumer, of the senior consumer, who is not going to want the sleek version. They're going to want the more comfortable version. So I create a series of videos. Sometimes they're helpful tips. Sometimes they're frequently asked questions. And sometimes I just talk about what I'm teaching this week.
So how long should videos be?
Now that is the question that I get asked more often than anything else. And everybody wants a number. Do you want a number, Steve? You want like 87 seconds? Give me a number, Todd. You're the video guy. I got to have a number.
That's right.
The truth is there's not a number because there are so many different types of videos. So when we start with how long should a video be, are we talking about a webinar? We're talking about an interview like this? We're talking about a documentary? We're talking about a social video? Like there's a lot. So the way I look at it is be short, compelling, succinct, and not a second longer. As soon as you feel like your information, like my information on this answer, excuse me, is about to get stale or redundant, that's where the video ends.
Yep. Abby, how do you pick?
So I try to keep them as short as possible, really. I try to keep them under a minute. And I do try to be as succinct as possible. I often will take a couple of different takes and then choose the best one or the shortest one or the one in which I've said it more concisely. So, and if I am using them for Instagram and I want to make a reel out of it, then I'm going to use a 7-second or a 29-second video. If I'm using it on LinkedIn, a minute, minute and a half. If I'm using it on Facebook, I try to keep it to 1 minute.
So I allow the story to dictate. I also think it's really interesting, Abby, that sorry, I just had pistachios, which you should never do before an interview. But I think it's really interesting that you said you do a couple of takes, because here is me. Oh, God. I mean, like, how many takes is that, right? And it's not just, it just keeps going, right? So, like, you're just doing a couple of takes, but I'm like, I'm working it. I want what you got. You got something natural.
I have something to say about this, because, Steve, you asked earlier when you should do it, where you should do it, that type of thing. And I've got something to say about this. So what I've noticed is that I have the best success doing my videos first thing in the morning when my children are not awake, when I have energy, when I can speak without tripping over my tongue. This is my sweet spot. It happens before 7 a.m. So if I don't get the video done before 7, it may not happen. Now, when I go to YouTube, when I go to Best Buy, I do those on the way to pick up my children from school, and I knock them out from 1:30 to 2, and that's it. I give myself a small amount of time. I don't overthink it, but I try to maximize on the time of day that I have the best energy. And so you will never find me doing things like this after 6 p.m. I'm just like, blah, 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 blah. Nothing works. Nothing falls into place for me. And so I'm always doing this before 2 p.m.
Yep.
I do my videos before pistachios.
Not your live video before pistachio, right? So actually, let's talk for just a little bit just a minute about live. Live is not so easy on LinkedIn. You have to get approval. The approval process can take months. I've been doing live for a little over a year on my personal LinkedIn account. And after about 3 months, I submitted to do it on my business page. And I think it took 9 months before one day this email popped in that said that. But there are places you can go live essentially immediately, right? LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, not LinkedIn. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Facebook. So thoughts on start with live, start with pre-recorded?
I prefer pre-recorded. And the reason is you can have multiple takes. And then once you start getting more comfortable, go live.
Yeah, Todd really encouraged me to go live a year ago. All right. So this was a year ago. He said, Ab, it's a new year. It's time for you to go live. I want you to go live once a week on Facebook. And I thought, what? What? Okay. So he said, set a date, set a time, be consistent. People will find you there every single week. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do it. He showed me how to make up a script in text, to put that on my screen and to have this text edit app running, and I can use that, stick with the format, work through that. And so I did just that. And yeah, it was a hot mess, probably for the first 2 months. And then I started going live all the time. Yeah. And I treated it as my dream job, which is to be a TV host, to explain these tech skills to people live. And you know what it really forced me to do? It forced me to refine considerably and to just have confidence, right? And just do it, because repetition Todd is
the mother of skill.
There
It's
you
like
go.
my favorite Tony Robbins quote. It's like my whole life is built around developing a skill by going through repetition. So just to Abby's credit, she didn't just do it once and say, I'm not good. She got back on the saddle each and every time and polished and perfect like a tumbling stone going down the river to polish. That's what people should do.
Yeah. And I would just say that this is about the 65th episode of Foresight TV, something like that. And it's both better today, I'm better today, and the technology is better because I have done it a lot. And the thing that I think is hard for people is that the only way I could get here was by doing the 64 episodes before this.
Totally.
And so just, recording it. And one more quick question. What about editing? I do need to ask that because I think it's something that people are concerned about.
All right. So here's a story of my past. I got laid off at my last company before I decided to open up a video marketing agency. Well, what is the gap between when I got laid off and my thoughts, damn, I should open up a video agency? I went to the Apple store when I was laid off to learn how to use some of their products. I took a iMovie editing class. I left after a 1-hour class, called my wife from in front of the Apple store and said, we're opening up a video marketing agency. So it's like, go on to YouTube. You can watch and learn. And before you know it, you'll be good enough to, and Abby doesn't do a lot of editing on her videos often. So you don't have to. Abby, what do you think?
Yeah, I think there's a time and a place for expert editing, but for the type of videos that I'm doing and I'm just posting, you've got everything you need right here.
Yeah, and we have Rachel who jumped in with a comment earlier. I'll put her comment back up. She is our full-time social media guru. She edits and does amazing things. And in fact, but we're not good enough yet. We'll ultimately never be good enough. We've got a 2-hour strategy meeting that she's going to lead when I get back from vacation after next week. And we're going to talk about, we've got some great ideas about how to serve better, how to do it better. But the other thing I would just say, 2 other things I would say is if you're putting out a lot of video, it's not going to be perfect, but it is going to be genuine. Mm-hmm. And for me, and as I listen to our audience, that's the single biggest thing I see.
Steve, I'm not looking for perfection. I don't think anybody should. I'm looking for connection.
Yes.
And when you do that, you don't have to have a Spielberg movie every time you put out something.
Yeah. I would even offer that I see a lot of high production videos that I hate, that are boring. You can tell that the light's right, the editing is perfect, the sound is perfect, and they resonate not at all. And they just cost a lot of money.
Right.
So,
right.
Well, listen, guys, this has been amazing. Todd, how do people find you? Abby, how do people find you? Let's start with Todd.
Well, they can find me on LinkedIn at Todd Hartley, or on my agency site, wirebuzz.com is a great place to find me. Abby?
Yeah, definitely find me on LinkedIn. Send me a direct message. Say hello to me. I'll get right back to you. Or you can always go to our website, which is seniorsavvy.net.
Guys, thank you very much. This was amazing. Actually, I want to do one little thing. I wonder if we can figure out how to do this somehow. I've never been able to figure out the TikTok thing. The one thing I do want to say is I think TikTok style videos have great power for senior living, for operators to tell short stories. And I think, Todd, you touched on it, and we didn't do a lot of storytelling, but we did a little bit of storytelling. That maybe the best place to start is by just telling your story.
That's right.
So, Anyway, thank you very much. Have a great weekend.
Right.
And wait. Oh, one more thing. I keep forgetting. Abby, shall we tell them?
Let's wait.
You want to wait?
Mm-hmm.
Abby and I
wanna
have
know.
really, huh?
But what about me? Like I'm going to
I'll
wait.
tell you what, well, you stay on after we're done with the live part, and
Right.
we'll tell you. But we have a really cool announcement. So
Yeah, I
with
wanna
that,
know.
thank you very much for watching. Have a great weekend.